This is the horrible impact that will be experienced by victims of narcissistic mental abuse. When we hear stories from survivors who have endured mental abuse at the hands of narcissists, we gain valuable insights into navigating similar circumstances. Such abuse can severely impact one's ability to find love and experience emotional fulfillment. It's important to recognize that behavioral changes are a natural response to various factors, and fluctuations in emotions reflect these changes. However, just as other aspects of life can be improved, behavioral patterns can also be addressed. Alterations in behavior represent a prominent and detrimental consequence of psychological distress. In this video, I explore certain signs that may indicate someone is a victim of narcissistic abuse. Number 1. Depression and anxiety. Have you ever encountered someone who consistently appears anxious and melancholic? Have you found yourself frequently checking up on them to ensure their well-being? There is a possibility that such individuals are suffering from mental abuse inflicted by a narcissist. Relentless criticism can gradually erode a person's spirit, and the recovery process from this form of abuse does not happen as swiftly as healing from physical injuries. Psychological abuse inflicts deep and lasting wounds. Verbal abuse, which can be subtle yet devastating, predominantly occurs when the perpetrator is someone the victim frequently interacts with or cannot easily evade. It is unrealistic to expect a sense of optimism and happiness when subjected to ongoing abuse. In fact, the situation can become so overwhelming that feelings of hopelessness and helplessness may drive one to entertain thoughts of suicide. Seeking medical assistance becomes crucial in such circumstances. Number 2. Issues with assertiveness. Compliance refers to doing the bare minimum in line with what others desire or expect. Obedience, on the other hand, denotes a mindset where one consistently chooses to follow commands, even if they conflict with personal values or principles. Compromise involves agreeing to something one would rather avoid. Individuals who have experienced mental abuse often respond by becoming excessively obstinate, attempting to safeguard themselves from further harm. They may also place significant importance on their relationships with the abuser and or others. Number 3. Profound self-doubt and distrust in one's judgment. Those who have first-hand experience with mental abuse can testify to its destructive impact on self-esteem. As a result, victims often feel humiliated and powerless. Many individuals who have suffered such trauma may hesitate to speak up, fearing ridicule or exclusion. Unfortunately, victims may appear vulnerable and helpless despite their efforts to present themselves otherwise. Abusers frequently exploit their victims' perceived weaknesses as a form of psychological warfare. Consistent exposure to disparaging remarks can cause severe psychological harm and erode the victim's ability to trust their own judgment. Remember, the healing journey for survivors of mental abuse requires patience and support. If you recognize these signs in yourself or someone you know, reaching out to professionals and seeking assistance can be transformative. Number 4. Emotional instability and impaired self-regulation. The brain serves as the control center of our bodies, processing information and influencing decision-making. Mental abuse can severely impact an individual's ability to regulate their own emotions, leading to emotional instability and impulsive behavior. Without proper emotional regulation, the consequences can be significant, as individuals may engage in regrettable actions without sufficient restraint. Number 5. Irrationality and unreasonable reactions. Victims of psychopathic abuse may exhibit extreme emotional responses, such as hysteria or hypersensitivity, stemming from a compromised capacity for logical reasoning. These individuals may have been subjected to false or damaging beliefs and treated as disposable entities. Consequently, victims may think and act in ways that deviate from reality. It's natural to experience intimidation when falsely accused or unfairly judged. Number 6. Pervasive pessimism and despondency. Do you know someone who consistently harbors a negative outlook, seemingly fixated on survival rather than growth? Such individuals may reside on the brink of despair, grappling with overwhelming concerns for themselves and the world. Victims of mental abuse may gradually lose faith in their own abilities and ability to confront future challenges. Pessimism, the assumption that things will ultimately turn out poorly, can become systemic, coloring one's perspective on the past, present, and future. Mental maltreatment can breed a sense of defeat and depression, making it arduous to believe in one's inherent worthiness of happiness. Consequently, victims may adopt excessive cautionary measures to shield themselves from potential harm. Number 7. Decreased productivity. Victims of mental abuse may experience a waning interest in activities that once brought them joy, yielding minimal progress, even when equipped with the necessary resources. A sense of hopelessness and negativity pervades their mindset, anticipating unfavorable outcomes based on their encounters with narcissists. This pessimistic lens can prove detrimental to their pursuit of meaningful achievements, particularly if they believe their efforts are undervalued. Number 8. Diminished responsibility and safety awareness. Psychological recklessness refers to a disregard for one's own safety or the safety of others. Victims of mental abuse may exhibit impulsive decision-making under duress, falling into a destructive cycle of codependence with their abuser. Abusers frequently cultivate high-stress environments that impair an individual's ability to make sound judgments. Taking matters into their own hands can exacerbate the situation, creating a disheartening catch-22 scenario. Victims may become more prone to negligence or struggle to make sound decisions due to the emotional and psychological torment they have endured. Number 9. Resentment. When subjected to malicious words or actions, it is natural for individuals to feel upset and resentful. Victims of abuse often harbor resentment towards their abuser for the harsh treatment they have endured or witnessed. Reminiscing on their experiences can evoke deep-seated resentment and a yearning for justice. Some victims may long for retribution, seeking to dismantle the abuser's power and demand accountability. This sentiment is particularly pronounced when dealing with narcissistic abusers who may masquerade as empathetic individuals. However, victims may inadvertently direct their frustrations towards those around them instead of directly confronting the narcissist, who is unlikely to change their behavior. Number 10. Restlessness. Victims of narcissistic mental abuse often exhibit restless behaviors that can be challenging for others to understand empathetically. They may adhere to stringent propriety as a result of fear instilled by the narcissist, leading to visible signs of unease and restlessness. For instance, they may struggle to stay seated or find it challenging to focus on tasks for extended periods. These behaviors can stem from anxiety or stress related to situations that pose no real threat. Nail biting, foot tapping, or drumming fingers on a table are all coping mechanisms individuals may employ to manage anxiety. If you or someone you know has experienced narcissistic mental abuse, it's essential to recognize that most victims exhibit behavior changes as a consequence. Adapting and modifying behavior can aid in the healing process. However, for comprehensive results, seeking guidance from an expert is highly recommended. If you found this video valuable, I invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. Don't hesitate to explore my other content on navigating relationships with narcissists.